Welcome to this meeting of the Santa Rita Union School Board. If I'm going to call the meeting to order, if we could have roll call, please.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain President.
Ms. Avariano,
I am here.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Present.
Ms. Cindy Lopez, and Mr. Jacob Sandoval are not present this evening.
Please stand for the flag salute. Could I have a motion for the approval of the board agenda?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Motion 3-0.
Thank you. Today we have closed session items 2.1, potential litigation, and closed session item 2.2, public employee performance evaluation. 2.3, conference with labor negotiators. 2.4, public employee appointments, evaluations, discipline, and release. Do we have any public comment about closed session items?
We do not.
Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
So motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Motion 3-0.
Going to adjourn to closed session. Thank you. Hi, we're going to reconvene into open session. During closed session, the board considered the following requests for leaves of absence. Employee 148968, we approved a 1-year unpaid leave of absence for the 25-26 school year. The vote was 3-0. Employee 160826 requested a 14-week extension of unpaid leave. The board did not approve that request, but the employee will be placed on the rehire list. The vote was 3-0. We are at 5.1, approval of the consent agenda. Can I have a motion?
So motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Captain.
Aye. So we are at 6.1, Santa Rita Elementary School recognition.
Thank you. Here with us, we have Donna Koenig, who will be leading a recognition of local artist Becca Bowles, who is doing some pretty special things with our Santa Rita students and has gifted the school with a wonderful original piece of art.
Thank you so much. Happy to see everybody. And we are honored to have Becca here today. It's a true pleasure. It's been a wonderful experience having this piece of art at our school. This is our piece of art. It's called Sparkle and Shine, created by Becca. It's 30 by 30, and it's absolutely beautiful. And the students, when they come look at it, they're just elaborated. It's so excited about it. Becca is a local artist, and she's graciously donated this mixed media painting, Sparkle and Shine, to our school in December as a great tribute. We're so honored. This beautiful art speaks to our hearts and to our hearts and souls of our Santa Rita family as we strive to share Sparkle and Shine throughout the school year. It's unique and available for viewing at Santa Rita Elementary's main office. I don't want to take it off the wall, so it's staying there. We want to give our heartfelt thanks to Becca and this artwork. And it does embody the resilience of our school and our community. And exciting to continue this relationship. Ms. Bowles has graciously volunteered to spend time with our 5th grade students. And on the calendar on May 22nd, she and her team will visit us for an in-house field trip where all of our 5th graders will create a personal piece of artwork on canvas, and this additional donation of Ms. Bowles' time and supplies to share her love of art with our students will help foster the spirit of creation for our students. So we're really, really excited. And with that, we want to thank you and honor you. We have this certificate for you, as well as, of course, Melissa, I got her a t-shirt.
Oh, thank you.
You can
Thank
paint
you
in
very
it,
much. Yeah, I will. Thank you.
and I'll let you speak if you
Thank
like.
you. Hi, I'm Becca Bull, and I painted the painting Sparkle and Shine for your school in December, and it really is my hope that all of your students can sparkle and shine. And we're really looking forward to coming in May to teach the students some art and give them an experience firsthand of what it's like to be an artist and to be able to be creative and just have a great time with the materials and all of that comes with being being an artist and experiencing making art. And this is actually my boyfriend, Jay, who goes by the artist name Kurz, and he's also going to be with me. So we're both going to be teaching the students together. So it's going to be a wonderful experience. So thank you very much for honoring me and for having me here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Can I take a picture of you guys?
Oh, please. Photo op, anybody? Yes.
Yes.
Does the board want to be in?
Yes. Thank
The more the merrier.
We have
Very good. Do you get it?
our normal spot.
Or should we go over there? You got it?
We kind of got it down now where we.
This is harder than art.
hard.
Look this way, there we go. You load it. Okay. One, two, three. And I always like to do this.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I got to see the painting the first week that it was up. The office staff, they were beaming. It was amazing. And I love that. Sorry, I'm going to get a little emotional. It matters to me that our children understand that they're people that are worthy of art. And we couldn't be more excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other board comments?
Mrs. Bull, I'll tell you what, you sparkle and shine for me and for the rest of the board, I'm sure. Sparkle and shine is absolutely a great quote, and well, not quote, words that our children will always remember. And if we tell them that they sparkle and shine, they will absolutely believe it. And we believe in them. So it's going to be, and I've also seen the artwork. I think it was the same time Sarah did. And we went into the office and we saw it in the back. And I mean, that's the first thing you see when you walk into that office. And we'll always remember you,
Thank you.
always remember you for your kind contribution.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Bulls, I just want to say thank you. As educators, academics develop the mind, but it's truly the arts that gets to the soul of our students. And, I've often found art to be a great healer. We're doing a lot of work with our students regarding mental wellness, and this is a great component. I just want to thank you, and hopefully we can continue this partnership with you and other artists. We've been liking the importance of what arts bring to our society, and we haven't given it justice, I'd say, in the last 2-3 decades. So we need to have a revolution. We need to bring back arts and music to the level that they deserve to be here. And so I just want to say thank you for pioneering this effort, and hopefully it'll be create a spark that will light a fire, and create a revolution that we so desperately need. So thank you for touching our soul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have, is your name on there or is there?
On the painting?
Uh-huh.
Well, my signature is on the
Okay.
bottom of the painting. I don't think I didn't.
Reference them will do it. Also, I want to make one correction.
Sure.
The last name is Bull, B-U-L-L, no S.
Oh, Bull.
Bull, Rebecca Bull, Becca Bull.
Thank you. Thank you.
Too nice to correct.
Yes, no, thank you very much. I think it would be,
What were you looking for?
no, I was just saying like right underneath the painting or the artwork is to put maybe a plaque or yeah. I think that would be just
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, good. And that way we will pronounce the name right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
we're also now going to move into the boring part of the meeting. So you want to stay
Thank you very
great
much for having
otherwise.
me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
And Mrs. Koenig, thank you for connecting with her. It was great with both of them.
Okay.
Yes.
But, so what's gonna happen is each student is gonna get a 12 by 12 canvas.
Oh.
I'm gonna bring them. They're gonna have maybe two different painting styles that they can choose between.
I'll do a painting style and he's gonna do a painting style, and then they can choose which they would like to create.
So they can incorporate it.
Or
however
they can
want.
incorporate it however they
Oh.
would
It's
like
gonna be
to.
acrylic paint, high quality, very expensive, so, it will last for a long time. But they'll need to be varnished, so I'm actually going to be setting them up the day before, we'll set up the day before. That day, and then that day I'll take them all back to the warehouse, to the studio. I'm gonna varnish all of them, so they'll last forever.
Oh,
I have them right on the back before, we have to remember this, I almost forgot.
yes,
Before they
yes.
start painting, they have to write their full name on the back, and then we can sort it out. So it's gonna be literally 100 and what, 20, 12 by 12, 100.
Oh,
12 by
gee.
12 canvases. So the paint will still be a bit wet, but we have a contraption in the van with shelves. I'm gonna be able to make it, I think maybe all in one trip, maybe two. I'll varnish them and then I'll bring them back the following Monday and.
Students can take them home with them and enjoy them.
Oh.
That's a lifetime art piece here.
Yep,
Yeah,
this is a big one.
so they'll always be able to remember it.
Yes,
One of the first paintings I've ever made was on a 12 by 12. And it's just kind of special.
Yeah.
thank you for doing that.
Just so you know kind of how. We're just, she'll lead us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Oh, that should be really sweet. That's nice.
That quality of that work.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. They're so cute.
Thank you so much. So we're at 7.1, Santa Rita Teachers Association, pardon me.
Thank you. Ashley Tripp sent me a sunshine to open negotiations that she asked me to read for her report. The union hereby notifies the district that we are opening the collective bargaining agreement in accordance with Article 8 of the CBA during and reopening of negotiations. The association respectfully demands to bargain the contract in its entirety. It is our goal to review and revise the contract to clarify gray areas, as well as work towards a contract that supports our staff as a whole. In the interest of our students, parents, and community, we look forward to a mutually productive and positive negotiations process with the district. Students are the center of everything we do. Signed by Ashley Tripp, SRTA Negotiations Lead.
Thank you. 7.2, CSEA? No report? Okay. 7.3, Superintendent's Cabinet. Starting with Dr. Summer.
Our Director of Engagement and School Climate, Dr. Summer Prather-Smith.
Let me mute this thing here. Good evening, everybody. I just have a couple pieces of information for you. One, I shared out a little bit, but we did our universal screener at Gavilan View Middle School. As I shared with you, we chose to do our 8th graders this year. We had done 6th graders the year before. We were planning to do 7th, and then based on our California Healthy Kids surveys, determined that our 8th graders needed some additional support and evaluation. So we screened 171 8th grade students through our universal screener. We were able to identify specific needs. And just as a reminder, what that screener does is, yes, identifies crisis situations. And we did have 3 students who were in a crisis situation, and we were able to respond to that. But it also provides us really valuable feedback around establishing the needs for ongoing support. So those tier 2 supports that many of our students need so that we can get ahead of any of those crises that are there. Just kind of for reference, 19% of our students showed symptoms of anxiety, 13% for depression, 4% for isolation. And then we had 8% of our students report self-harm behavior and 5% report suicidal thoughts within the past year. Just kind of an update. I think Sarah had asked for it last time around Saturday Academy. So pass some of those down. These are our numbers for Saturday Academy. We currently have We put it the right way, and that's helpful. We average about 100 students in attendance, and kind of that big piece you'll see down there at the bottom, we've recouped about $32,100 in ADA overall. We're going to be looking at academic progress for our students who have attended Saturday Academy after this final session. So looking at both iReady scores as well as eventually our state testing to look at the academic impact. What we do know is that based on the feedback we've received from teachers, especially at the middle school level, students are coming back with assignments completed and more ready to access assessments because of Saturday Academy. So we have one last session here starting in April, and then we'll kind of finalize all of those pieces overall. And that's all I have for you tonight.
I just want to make a quick comment. I thoroughly am majorly supportive of Saturday academies. I myself do Saturday academies at the high school level. It's a great opportunity for recovery and intervention, outside of the regular school day or hours. And so rather than pulling out of instruction during the school week, having that availability and the fact that ADA is also, helping financially. But once again, I think every opportunity we can afford to give the students to recover, intervene, improve, we need to do. So keep it up. I'm just very impressed.
Again, I just wanted to say that was an important comment that it serves as ADA recovery for students who need it, but not all students who attend Saturday Academy have attendance issues. So it's serving a dual purpose as well.
So are we primarily funding Saturday Academy out of ELOP funds?
We don't fund out of ELOP.
Okay.
We're funding out of
Learning
recovery
recovery.
funds, because in order to fund out of ELOP, it has to be a 9-hour day. And we reached out to our parents and they were not interested in, and again, we have to offer 9 hours. Rosa really would like me to fund it out of ELOP. We keep having this conversation. We have to offer the 9 hours. Students don't have to attend for the 9 hours, but if we're not offering 9 hours, we have to staff 9 hours.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily have staff who are interested in 9 hours on a Saturday. So right now we've been funding it out of our
Learning recovery.
grant.
Thank you. Any other board comments in regards to this? Thank you for presenting this particular information. I really appreciate it. I'm excited that the program's continuing to be successful. I would also like to offer my thanks to the Saturday Academy people. I sent them some high school students who were interested in doing community service hours, and the students were invited back to. So I took that as it was a positive on both sides.
Rosa, I don't want to assume because you have your presentation, so you're just going to hold.
Nothing to report. I will be reporting on my presentation. Thank you.
And then our Director of Technology and Innovation, Ms. Krisha Kerpel.
Yeah, so I have an item this evening for E-rates. It's the middle of E-rate season. So I'll be reporting on that, as well as I went through and applied for E-rate for the continuation of our hotspots. So we're right now evaluating all the proposals that came in. So hopefully we'll get some good discounts there as well.
And our Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, Ms. Becky Moore.
Thank you. I want to share just a few updates. We have our Curriculum Council coming up on Monday, St. Patrick's Day, where we will be continuing our conversation around the reading difficulties screener that will be required to be implemented in at least grades K through 2 next school year. So we're working through that adoption process with the Curriculum Council. We also have a great opportunity with CSUMB through a grant that they have for PD with their local feeder schools, to have some math PD for our middle school teachers. And so Dr. Ivan Chang, who is a university professor, I believe in Northridge, will be here on Thursday, the 20th, to provide some professional development to our math teachers to begin some work around implementing a protocol that he works teachers through and students talking about what they see in math first before teaching, so that students can start to develop their own understanding of math. and really increase dialogue and thinking in math. And so I'm really excited about the beginning of that work. I think those are the major things. Oh, one more thing. We launched our scope and sequence orientations with our revision teams last week. And so teams from TK through 8th grade are working on making revisions to scope and sequence based on the district-wide PLC conversations that they had. And I think those are the big things for now. Thank you.
Okay, going on to board and superintendent, Mr. Patel.
Sorry, I've missed a couple of meetings due to my obligations for school and golf, and also dealing with the immigration issue and helping host events. I'm just really concerned with what's happening regarding education, both on a state and federal level. It's disconcerting to me that a huge chunk of our funding and the department that's created in the federal level to protect our most vulnerable is being decimated. And this directly affects students with disabilities, learning loss, language acquisition, you name it. And so I'm really worried about the budget. I'm always a finance guy. And so, you know, I have mixed feelings right now. Frustration, anger, some amount of futility going through because there's not much we can do. And so I'm glad we have great board members that will work together to get through the next long term. I'm talking many years of drama. So, you know, whatever we can do to protect what we have, protect our staff, but most importantly, protect our students, you know, and our community. So, once again, you know, I never thought we'd get a situation like this. Never in my wildest imagination would I see various governmental agencies decimated without congressional approval. If you would have told me, that would be a direct violation of the Constitution. And yet here we are. So I'm hoping better minds will prevail. I hope good wins out in this epic battle that we're having in education. So having said all that, you know, we're here. We'll do the best we can.
Ms. Ariano?
Yes, gosh, since the last time I was here, I'm not sure whether this is going to be old news or new news. But anyway, I did attend a budget workshop at the MCOE, very interesting. And they pretty much emphasize that it's a moving target and it depends on the political view of what's going on now. And that particular day was the walkout for the immigration. And so it was very interesting because people sitting next to me who were administrators of their schools were looking at their texts and seeing the enrollment and being a little bit worried about, you know, the low enrollment, but it was something that we had to do. So I went to that, and then I also went to the Curriculum Council meeting. I'm not sure, that's why I'm saying I'm not sure whether this is going to be old news, and excuse me, sometimes my voice goes out. But it all had to do with the California mandate for the dyslexia. So it was online. It was very, very interesting. And I had never, well, I haven't in a long time heard of dibbles because I use dibbles. So they gave us a lot of interesting facts about that particular curriculum or assessments. And then we had another one, and it was nice to meet Amira. That was an AI, and they did the assessment online, and it was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I'm not sure which one we're gonna adopt, but I know it has to be done in the spring, and it has to be implemented in the fall. So I'm curious to see. Also, are the teachers going to be looking at this?
So the Curriculum Council on Monday is going to share their thoughts on
Gotcha.
the final assessment program
Right.
where the speaker wasn't able to join us on Zoom.
Yes.
But we have information, so they'll look through that. UCSF, I just lost the name, it starts with an M. And then we'll decide what our next steps are going to be. If we're going to have them take it back to their sites to get input, if they want to try out some of the assessment features on some of their students as like a mini pilot. I want the Curriculum Council to really guide what that next step would be.
Okay, good. Yes, it was very interesting to see the AI assessment and how it's done. It's pretty cool. So anyway, and then I also attended the immigration meeting at the LSL school. And I guess the three things that I got out of it, number one, are these: I stand in support of undocumented students. And my other one says, what does it say? Defend immigrant rights. So what I got out of that whole, there were attorneys present answering lots of questions and a lot of them weren't, they all pretty much knew that there wasn't, the gym was full, but there was a lot missing because of fear. So that kind of got to my heart. I'm like, geez. So anyway, so the three things were the red cards, the child safety plan. This I thought was very, very good. I don't know whether we got these or not. Summer?
We have them and our liaisons are trained on completing them.
Oh, great, because you need to know where your kids are going to be, who they're going to be taking care of, and not be just left without any, like it happened the last time, I believe. And the other one was just to contact Zoe Lofgren office. And here's the first thing you do is your red card, and then have an attorney ready to call. So those were the three things. It was really a great presentation. Got a lot of freebie stuff too from the little workshops. So, but anyway, that is my, that's all I have for you. This is really a good one.
Thank you. For myself, I don't have anything specific to report. I would, as we're going forward with TK and kinder enrollment, just if you can keep updating us on numbers and if we can keep reaching out to the community, because as Elva mentioned, I have concerns that people won't come forward because they're concerns that we would release information about them, which again, we don't have that information. We can't release it because we don't know it. And we want every child in our community to be educated. So going on to Dr. Alderman.
Had a great meeting last week. Our new city manager, Renee Mendez, reached out to the Salinas superintendent, Jim Koenig, and I were able to make it. We met with him and our new chief of police, and it was kind of a follow-up to a group conversation about immigration and just any additional concerns that the district had. Jim Koenig and I were both able to share that it's been really helpful that they've been part of the hub of information and resources. And, with the Salinas PD being as responsive as possible when we call and we have a question about activity in a neighborhood, and they're able to share, they share if they have information. Reminded also that not necessarily all agencies are giving them a heads up for activity, but when they do, they're making a concerted effort to let school districts know or to answer the call when we need to make the call to ask about something and share if they have the information. And a chance to thank the city for their involvement in helping to allay any fears that our community has. It's really important to have like sort of that united front that we're able to have here in Salinas. And then later that evening, and I want to thank our site administrators, Mr. Muchnick and Miss Alicia, for hosting the city planning department's community event about the Baranda Roundabout. And they had their engineers out. They were able to share different facets of the plan as well as phasing and their anticipated timeline. We had a lot of community input, so some good points brought up about what would be helpful. Obviously, this project has already started, so it's not something that can be dialed back, but you know, questions and suggestions about how to make those crosswalks more noticeable and safer. A lot of conversation around, is it possible for the city to have crossing guard out there, especially during morning and afternoon transition of students when this is complete? Because if anyone goes to the city's website, the overall roundabout picture is, it is a very complicated looking intersection. And the learning curve for drivers and pedestrians as well came up. And I want to thank Miss Sophia Rome out of Salinas City's office. She has been handling the public relations. She set up regular meetings, which the school site or Summer or I are able to sit in. And if there's any new updates, keeping the timing fresh, because as I said, the project engineers, weather delays and all of those things. And so she creates this space where we get that information in a timely manner and are able to ask questions. She's also, you know, shared contact information so that when families are asking us questions that the city should be answering, that they're reaching out and that they have that and being really open to helping. So just appreciated that. And it was great to see our local officials who also attended that meeting and helped field some questions and concerns from our community.
Thank you. We're going to move on to 8.1, public comment regarding non-agenda items.
We do not have any.
8.2, public comment regarding agenda items.
We do not have any.
Okay. So we're moving on to information and discussion and our action items. 10.1, approval of elementary school boundary for the 25-26 school year.
We asked the board for permission to do a soft launch of the new boundary this year. It's been going well. Victor was able to identify and establish some bus routes. Families were allowed to opt in this year as voluntary, knowing that the boundary would become permanent for the upcoming school year. Oh, and I just wasn't sure what it was. And so when in talking with Donna and Michael, since our student enrollment at our two elementary schools in question are within about 100 students, and knowing that our fifth graders will be moving up to middle school, the idea being if we could go ahead and offer for families that are currently at Santa Rita to be grandfathered in, we feel like the matriculation will be smoother. And any new enrolling students would be routed to McKinnon. And any family who say if they enroll a kindergartner, but they have a fourth grader, they're given the option of going ahead and moving the fourth grader to McKinnon because the younger enrolling student will be going to McKinnon.
Mr. Patel?
No, I appreciate the accommodations we're making during the transition, but once again, it has to be done. You know, we can't have one school over capacity, one under. So, you know, it best serves the needs of our community and students. Unless there's any other comments, motion to approve.
Ms. Ariano, any other comments?
No, I think looking at the numbers and on here, it just seems practical to do that. So.
Yeah, and just for anybody watching, this is safer playgrounds, better service in the cafeteria. The entire goal here is a better educational options for both sites.
So with that, I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Captain.
Motion 3-0.
10.2, approval of CSBA board policy manual maintenance for December 2024.
Thank you. I want to thank Ms. Sarah Turner, who is this year's board trustee representative reviewing policies before we bring them to the board for a vote. The majority of policies were updating language based on laws, regulations, and identifying staff members who are the point of contact for different programs.
I really appreciated all the work that was done before it was sent to me in terms of options. It was very well laid out why different things had been selected and who was going to be in charge of different things. I was a little daunted, I'm not going to lie, when I first opened my email and I was like, oh, okay, this is really a lot. But Amy gave me a week to review it and I got it done. So could I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Motion 3-0.
10.3, approval of job description for teacher on special assignment expanded learning opportunities program.
Good evening again. So I'm bringing forward, this is a position for next school year. We've identified a need to ensure that all of our students, specifically our students with disabilities, are having access to our expanded learning program. As you know, our SPED department has a lot to do in the regular day, and to add the additional task of expanded learning becomes a real challenge. We want to make sure that not only do our students have access, but they're thriving in that space. So this position will support by attending IEP meetings to make sure that expanded learning is represented within the needs of that student as well, working with and training staff who are serving students in the after school program, and then facilitating some of that support across the areas. The position currently, the plan is to have the position work from 10 a.m. to 5:15 a.m. so that it overlaps both spaces. We know that that position will need to be present during the regular day to attend those meetings for students, but we also want them to have a presence within that after school program to facilitate that additional support for students as well.
What are the hours again?
10 to 5:15,
Oh.
10 a.m. to 5:15 with a half an hour or a 40-minute lunch.
And I had called Dr. Alderman earlier in the week, and that had been my only concern was the hours of the person, which, you know, I had a friend in a similar job, and, you know, when extended learning is available 12 hours a day, sometimes you find yourself on campus 12 hours a day. So trying to just be respectful of that person, and if we need to adjust on one end or the other, we do so.
And I think you notice within the job description, it does say some flexibility because there could be, and that's the TOSA piece, the additional stipended piece to help support with some of those additional needs that may come up, but we wouldn't take advantage of that, but the 10 to 5:15 would be the goal.
Any questions from the board? Could I have a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion
Passes.
3-0.
Thank you.
The next is just the approval of that FTE for that approved job description for the teacher on special assignment, TOSA, for expanded learning.
Thank you. Could I get a motion?
So motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion 3-0.
10.5, approval of AT&T agreement for wide area network.
All right. Good evening again. Our contract term ended with Comcast, and so we went out for bid for our wide area network for our Ethernet connections. And with those bids coming in, AT&T actually came back as the most cost-effective in terms of the wide area network provisions for our district. And so the term of the agreement is for 36 months with an option for a 12-month extension, which is standard for those types of agreements. It's going to include the installation and service at all 6 of our sites, including the connectivity with MCOE. The rate that they came in with was $4,428 a month, which in total for the 36 months would be $159,408 for that 36-month term. With our E-rate discount, that coming in upon receipt of the E-rate funding, our district will pay 10% of that cost per month at $442.80. And then the total for the full month would be the $15,940.80. So we're looking to get approval for that funding.
Any questions?
No.
Can I get a motion?
I make I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion 3-0.
10.6, approval of second interim budget report for the 2024-25 school year.
That is me. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Make sure it works. Give it 3 seconds. All right. Thank you. So this is the presentation for the second interim report. I'm just going to be highlighting the most significant changes from the first interim. A lot of that information I have already talked about on previous meetings. So I'm just going to do like a slight little summary over the most significant changes. As you know, now the district is offering the early retirement incentives, which we hope to have some savings by the end, or actually by the beginning of next year. We have teachers or classified staff who's retiring early. One of the good news compared to the first interim is that, I don't know if you remember that during the last presentation, we talked about the significant increase on absences, specifically with teachers. Now we took another review by the end of February, looking at those absences and the cost of substitutes. It truly decreased significantly. The main reason for that is, as you remember, we were offering COVID-19 leave, and then there was an extension that it expired this December 2014. So we removed that liability from our books, and it really helped out to reduce that $2 million as part of the savings. Again, we're focusing on what are the essentials and what are the needs. Making sure that we maintain the department budgets and school sites balance. And then again, we're still seeing that shift of funding and how the funding is changing even right now during the year. So we're keeping an eye on that as well. As you remember, we did receive additional LCAP funding from the first interim because we did collect the income forms, and we received about $200,000 more. We did move some of salaries and benefits to the LCAP to be able to reduce that $2 million that we had to cut, as well as medical reimbursement that it's coming in higher. The main reason for this is because we're utilizing our learning recovery funds to provide most of the mental health services. And as long as we have that learning recovery grant, or medical reimbursement is going to come higher. So we use that, and we move about $300,000 to the medical reimbursements as a grant, as we saw savings from last year to this year. Again, this might change in the future, and we might have to move salaries back to another grant that can support those salaries. There was also and just with that I mentioned, we were able to, those are the main reasons why we were able to reduce our unrestricted deficit spending and need for cut from a $2 million to $1 million. Let's go ahead, and these are the district challenges, ongoing challenges. As you know, we are on declining enrollment. We're getting reductions on LCFF. We're still projecting reduction in LCFF on the upcoming year. And main reason is because of the state COLA or district COLA and on enrollment. Again, one-time funds no longer available for us. The big one that's coming up is learning recovery again. We're using $3 million this year. Next year is going to be $2 million. The state, based on the proposed budget, they did announce that we are getting more money. However, it's not 100% sure. So we don't have a letter or a dollar amount yet. We are waiting for more information in May, and then we're going to be revising the budgets once we get that information. Again, increases in special ed costs, as Summer just added a new position that's been going on for years, still a challenge. Yes. And then we also have increases due to inflation, just everything is more expensive as well. And increase on benefits. As you remember, we had that mixed sig one-time payment of $375,000, which we were not expecting, but now we have it in the books. And then taking into consideration that every year we have a step-in column. ahead and move. So these are our budget assumptions. As you can see, something to highlight, our district COLA this year is still at 2%. Once we get the final P280A, by the next budget revision in June, that percentage based on attendance, on overall attendance by the end of the year, that's going to be changing and we're going to be adjusting. Right now, our ADA to enrollment is at 93% for current year, 2 years out. That's our district enrollment projection. We're still projecting decline enrollment based on the most recent data that we have and based on the numbers that we had in the past years, and also taking in consideration everything that's happening with immigration law and all of that, keeping in mind that that can also affect our enrollment, can be worse by the next year. So we are hoping no, but we are being very conservative and keeping an eye on those numbers as well and adjusting as necessary. This is just a chart, as you can see, our enrollment over the last 5 years. And we are on 24, 25. Right here, we have our general fund overall. There was a decrease on LCFF funding. This is due to the enrollment and ADA to enrollment for the Monterey County special ed students. So that was not our projection, but the numbers that we get from MCOE. Decrease of $44,000. We also got an increase on federal revenue due to our Title I and Title II new allocations from the state, as well as other state income. We got an increase, again, due to our medical reimbursement as well. The local income, we had a one-time grant or dividend that they call from MERMA, which is our JPA here locally. They had a surplus and they distributed that money to the district. So that was for about $140,000. So that really helped out overall our total revenues. The certificated salaries decreased mainly due to the reduction in substitute teachers, classified salaries, and benefits. Again, benefits increased and also decreased with certificated, but increased due to the mixed sick payment, but as well increased with taxes due to the one-time payment for classified that we settled for $2,700 plus the additional $300 if they were enrolled with health benefits as of January of 2025. For books and supplies, we did move some of that into our other services, but overall we had a decrease mainly due, we did a close review from our one-time funds on programs for learning recovery as well as ELOP, and we look at the contracts and see due to the timing, what contracts we were going to need and what changed from the last projection. So we did reduce that. Those, again, are from our ELOP and one-time funding. And then mainly our 7,000 object code there, it increased. Again, this is due to our bill back that we get from MCOE. Those are the students that come from, or the students that MCOE serves for special education services. So overall, we did increase our deficit spending. However, it's not bad because remember, we did increase that one time or settlement with Classify and all the staff district-wide, which is included there, which is the 10% benefit increase as well as the one-time payment for $2,700 and the additional $300. Everything is included in there. So overall, we did decrease the deficit spending, and then we increased it with this one-time payment and settlement. But it's looking better than the first interim, so I'm happy about that. This is how our ending fund balance looks like. We still maintain the 17%. Recommended again to do a $1 million cut and possible to be able to identify this year so we can apply for next year. We actually have meetings coming up with cabinet to look at the grants and see how, if there's anything possible that we can still do the shift of funding and how we can maybe get some services that get multi-funded or move salaries and benefits, because we try to have less interruptions with staff and services, try not to cut services. So we're doing as best as we can. As you can see, our LCAP and fund balance now got reduced because of our one-time payment that we are paying that was reserved specifically for that. And then we have money, some money set aside for increases on costs, and then anything that can buy us some time for the one-time funds as well. Overall, this is for our multi-year projection. So right now we're at the deficit of $6.8 million. Now, on the second year, that's including that $1 million budget cut that we're hoping to identify by the end of this year. And there's also a $2 million cut for the learning recovery. That is contingent of the state. If the state in May comes back and say, you are going to get additional funding, which we are hoping that that's going to happen, it's looking like 80% chances that that happens, then we get to put that $2 million back into the books. But right now we have it identified that we need to cut it because we don't have anything from the state saying officially that we are getting the money. And then again, on the last year, we also have reduction of the $1 million plus the $2 million one-time funding. And that's how that's how it looks. We will be reducing, if that happens, we will be reducing our deficit spending, and we are still going to maintain our 17% reserves as long as we do make those cuts on time. Right, this is our ASB. Not a lot of changes, small change here on other services. Again, this is where they do their fundraising. It's really hard to predict because in one day they can have like a big sale and fundraise $50,000, and my projection is going to be totally off. So I'm keeping it stable based on last year's numbers as well. And we're adjusting as we can as well. This is our cafeteria fund. Overall revenues increased by $4,000. You can see increases on salaries and benefits, mainly due to, again, the classified settlement for the one-time payment, the 10% increase on benefits. This is our deferred maintenance fund, where we are paying for the verification of the district. So this in here, it was just a transfer out of books and supplies, move it into other services. Overall, the total expenses remain the same, and we're hoping to spend all of the funds and keep working on in-house on the projects to help maintain our facilities. Or bond fund, this is where we paying all of the big projects that we have, which we have our phasing plan, most of it. There's an increase due to architect fees and DSA fees that we got since December. Fund 25 increase. This is due again to the fees that are collected from any new projects from the homes that are around the area within our district, where they have to pay fees to the city and then they come and pay fees to the district. 8,800. This is based on actuals as of March, so we updated those numbers as well. We're hoping to have some savings in here, but this is where we've been using to pay WASP, and we're hoping to move maybe some of the facility costs here as well, more in the future once we have a better projection of the revenue as well. This is a facility fund. This is where we purchase our Sobrana. Additional increase due to architect fees, as we have a new plan for the new school that we're hoping to have soon. And that's about it. Those are our forms as usual. Something to highlight on criteria and standards, as you can see, I believe it's on page 5, is where it tells you how much we're spending on unrestricted revenue for salaries and benefits. Last projection on the first interim, because of the need of the $2 million, we were on the 2 years out, very close to the 90%. We have to keep it at 80, but now since we reduced that to the to $1 million moved to the restricted, that kept our 3 years more balanced in the 80%, just in case you take a look at that. And that's about it. I'm open for any questions or comments.
Board comments? Okay, Ms. Ariano?
The early retirement incentive bonus, what are we offering?
So for those, we offer a stipend. I believe I have to look $3,000, right? And it's pretty much anyone who wants to retire, either classified or certificated. Those positions are usually at the last of the salary schedule. And as they move out, we hire new teachers, for example, and they come in at the lower amount on the salary schedule on the first step. So that creates a big savings for a district.
The incentive is for them to give us an early retirement notice. And so
Okay.
the deadline for that was last Friday.
Oh, okay.
And that
So
way we can plan ahead for our staffing.
that was the deadline. And did we have how many retirees?
I'm not sure of the total number. I saw 3, I believe, on the consent agenda tonight.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So those will be included on the next budget
Budget,
revision, since
okay.
I did this one based on, in March, end of February. That's not included, but we did include the expense for those $3,000. And now we're going to include, on the next budget revision, we'll include the savings if we see, once we get all of the letters. It looks like we already got them, so.
Okay. Yeah, and on page 3, the actual student enrollment history. Wow, that's every single year. It looks like we are way down low. That's very concerning, but I mean, that's just dependent on the population, the kids that come in. And then with the benefits increase and the low enrollment, that is so concerning, very concerning, but
It is very challenging, and
yes,
I like to put this graph just to remind that
yes.
even though it's been 5 years, we've really been surviving because of the COVID funds and those one-time funds. But as you can see on the 5 years, we haven't made any cuts in salaries or programs. Instead, we've been adding because we have those one-time funds, and we're trying our best not to interrupt those programs and services for students.
Very good as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I'm just thinking of the next school year. It's very concerning, and then when the benefits increase also. So anyway, thank you so much. That's a very good report. It gives us a good idea of where we're at this point of time. So, yeah.
Mr. Patel.
Once again, thank you for a great presentation, sobering to say the least. But I appreciate it. And I appreciate the cost reduction that various programs you're trying. Let me just point this out. I've never think in the 20 years in education I've been at, I've seen it this bad in terms of not knowing. We have so many forces coming at us from so many different directions. It's overwhelming. We have ADA going down for various reasons. Not, we're the largest migrant county. Obviously, that's a direct effect on ADA, coupled with demographic changes with parents having less children, coupled with the fact that delays in construction. So, the next 2-3 years, I'm worried about ADA, which drives our revenue. I'm also worried about inflation, cost of goods and services. With tariffs going up left and right, the cost of our materials and our services are obviously going to go up. You mentioned it, medical benefits. We just took a big hit, and there's more hits coming from the insurance group that provides coverage for our teachers and staff. We also have the issue of potential recession, and that's the issue affects our state budget. Our budget of the state is directly determined by the economy. We're tied to the stock market. We're tied to the financials. As the market goes up, our budgets go up. As the markets go down, directly our market goes down. Our income from our state. That coupled with federal funding going left and right. The idea of cutting Title I, IDEA Act, everything else, which directly affects our federal revenue funding as well as our cafeteria funding. We're talking about providing food for our needy students, eliminating free breakfast or lunch. when you get into these situations, I hate to say it, but I always like to batten down hatches in times of uncertainty. I would rather prepare for the worst and hope for the best than to go along and just expose ourselves to future liabilities. So for the board, I'm just, I think I'm going to mention it is I am all about batting down hatches. I want to be very conservative in spending. I would like to, my votes are going to be for stopping any additional expense drivers as much as possible. We need to protect what we have. We need to sober up. We don't, I don't know what else to say. It's just everywhere I look, there's negatives. I'm looking for the positives. I am. Unfortunately, I don't see anything for 3 years. So how do we sustain 3 years and more? We have somewhat of a decent reserve, but that can be wiped out in 3 months. So we need to make sure that people understand that. And so for me, it's going to be a situation of closely monitoring expenses. Uh, you know, for me, it's like I said, batten down hatches, holding pattern in terms of hiring, in terms of expansion, any type of huge expenditures for whether it be construction or whatever it may be, we're going to have to seriously look at things. As far as I will be, that'll be for my vote. But once again, I am flustered, angry, frustrated, to a certain degree humiliated in the sense that we live in America and this is happening. Constitutional norms are being thrown out the window. And the people that are suffering are the innocent, and that is our students. So that's where I am. I appreciate your presentation. It's sobering to say the least, like I said earlier. But once again, we need to protect. We need to protect what we have so we have a future. But I am, like I said, everything I'm looking at, everything from ADA to medical to state revenue to recession to inflation, you name it, immigration, every single thing is attacking this district and all districts more or less, but acutely ours because we are the epicenter of migrant population for California. So having said all that, there's not anything for me to do or do anything right now, but I just hope the board understands where I'm coming from and hope people out there understand where I'm coming from. But if you would have told me this would be happening in America in 2025, I'd say no way. And here I am living it. And so it's about survival. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Captain.
Motion 3-0.
We are at 11.1. Our next regular board meeting will be April 9th, 2025. And are there any suggested board items? No?
How we doing with the solar and battery backup? I keep asking.
Mhm.
I think we could add that to
We can.
facilities request, and I'm going to add cell towers to that request in terms of
The cell towers.
Yep. So, and we did not have a facilities, normally I'm on the facilities committee. We didn't meet this month, but we will be meeting and have an update. With that, could I get a motion to adjourn?
So motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Captain.
Motion 3-0.
Thank you, everyone.
Sign this little backup for our bylaw.